This is the British Academy's flagship programme on skills in the arts, humanities and social sciences. It is a project which over the next few months will be looking at the skills that are generated by study of the arts, humanities and social sciences, and looking also at perhaps the skills that should be generated in those subjects.
All of the other news this week has been about post-truth and alternate facts and fake news. So never more has this sort of stuff been needed.
What is the framework of education that young people gain in the first place, both in school and at university, one that needs to be not this is the completion of my education when I get my certificates, but the imbibing of their mindset. It's absolutely crucial that people can take responsibility for continuous learning and improvement. And indeed, the workplace absolutely requires that of people.
The government plans to or has already scrapped the history of art as a GCSE or an A-level. And to some people, it was very much like they didn't have a relationship with history of art, they didn't understand it anyway. But it just goes to show that if the government and other big people in society have scrapped things like this, it's the message you send to young students saying these things are easily eradicated from your intellectual development, therefore they're not necessary.
And what we really do need to do is work with the student body, work with the employers, work with the educators, and bring them together in a celebration of what an arts, humanities and social sciences degree does and how it is important for your career and for our society.
So the ability to marshal arguments, the ability to think logically, the ability to put together a good argument, linking together evidence and fact, designing experiments. It was all incredibly relevant. I was actually pre-adapted for a degree in computing. I discovered not because linguistics is a bit like computing, but because in fact there are just generic research skills.
And it's the ability to inquire, and I mean inquire beginning with an E, the ability to sort, use and weigh evidence. And thirdly, and I think this is a really important theme for our times, is the ability to have empathy, to walk in the shoes of another.
Our society at the moment is absolutely clear that what we need are skills. But what are those skills? And do those skills only exist in the STEM, science and mathematics subjects? No. The arts, humanities and social sciences give people a wide range of skills, but sometimes we also need to find more skills. But we've not been good at really enunciating what those skills are, how they help people in what is, let's be fair, a challenging job market, and how for the rest of their life they will be able to use those skills in whatever they do.
We have to have an education system which offers pathways that enable people to change their aspirations, to change their views, not just halfway through an A-level, but actually halfway through a degree.
But one of the very important things is the feeling that you are perceived as doing something valuable within your society.
I mean, if I was going to apply to Goldman Sachs, that's prestige. You would be like, wow. But is there really a similar role that I can get as a social scientist? What other job allows me to be a social scientist and is like, wow?
In some way, what we've got to do is shout about the contribution we're making. If you look at the Global Challenges Research Fund and the Newton Programme, for example, arts and humanities, and certainly social sciences, are there in many, many of the projects. We may only be leading a couple of them, but the great majority of Newton projects, for example, has a strong social science component. So we are there, we just have to shout about it.
The project, just today, we launch a call for evidence, a call for evidence amongst all our stakeholders, educators, families, employers, government, all of them, to ask questions about whether, at the moment, we've looked at the evidence we have we got that right? Is there extra evidence we need? Is there extra things that we should be thinking? We'll get that evidence over the next couple of months. We'll synthesize it and bring it into a way which we can then say, here is a picture of what we need to do. We will then consult again with key stakeholders, our steering group, our executive group, to make sure we have something which has some very, very clear recommendations and a very, very clear agenda for action.